What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SERV Robotics. Big week ahead, and that is because of their upcoming earnings. So I want to go over some estimates and where things might be going. Before we get into any of that, make sure you hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So on Friday, did have a pretty good day, up 3.3%, piggybacking off the broader market, and the market was rallying because of PCE. So definitely worked out for a lot of stocks, including SERV. This upcoming week should be no different, pretty optimistic. So you do have, starting on Monday, manufacturing data. Forecast is 51. Last couple data points has been very optimistic and moving in the right direction. So above 50 shows more of an expansion occurring within the broader market. That's exactly what a lot of spec plays such as SERV needs. So again, that's coming out Monday. You have a lot of Fed speakers throughout the week, including on Tuesday, a big group of them on Friday. So that should make things for a very fun time. One of them is Powell on a side note. Then on Wednesday, you have ADP employment, and then capping it all off on Friday with non-farm payroll and unemployment. So like I said, should be a fun week, but in reality, SERV's upcoming earnings should be pretty interesting as well. So starting off on the 6th after hours, that's the date of their earnings, negative 13 cents for the earnings per share, and then 254.02 thousand is the revenue estimate. No changes or any revisions for the earnings per share over the last 90 days. So that's maybe a good thing, possibly. But as of right now, not many analysts are really paying attention to it. But based on this right here, low end for the earnings per share, negative 21 cents, high end of negative 15. That's based on 14 analysts. Revenue, 160 the low, 314 the high. So you have a lot of kind of flexibility there. It could go in many different directions. But in my opinion, it won't necessarily be the key metrics, so earnings per share or revenue, that the market really cares about. Rather, it is going to be the future guidance, such as what is their target still for the end of 2025? Is it still 2,000 units? Are they going to up it, lower it? What's their kind of revenue targets as well? Just for some parameters, because they are going to be giving guidance for 2025. And what is their expansion plans? Is there any partnerships, anything outside of, for instance, Miami? Like, what's their bigger plan ultimately? So a lot of those questions will be answered, hopefully, and given. And if good, then the market will absolutely love that. And you can even look forward into the next couple of earnings. So Q2 2025, the year-over-year growth, so revenue 1.48 million, that's the estimate, and that does work out to be 215.41% year-over-year growth. Following one, 1,500% year-over-year growth, 2,500, 1,400. So that is exactly what you want to see. But even essentially, once this earnings does pass and they give good future guidance, analysts will kind of, obviously it'll be a domino effect. They'll change their future expectations. So that might be like possibly Q2 2027 might be amended to, let's say, 300 million. So definitely it should be a very fun time. The implied move for this earnings is 16.04%, so roughly $1.50 in either direction is anticipated. And I think the bar in reality is set very, very low for SERV. If SERV was still trading at that like $20 range, then yeah, I'd say ultimately there might be a little bit more downside given everything. But with the recent pullback, which arguably could be said that's unjust, because technically in Q4, Nvidia did sell their position. It just was announced like a month and a half later, and that's what the market freaked out over. So it's not really anything changing operationally. So if Nvidia was to have lent SERV money, or there was obviously some influence to the balance sheet, then yeah, I would say that might change things. But essentially, they're just another investor. There was nothing crazy. So in my opinion, I think that the market might take that into consideration and really move it higher. So like I said, I think it's fair to be cautiously optimistic. When it comes down to this upcoming week, though, anticipate shorts to be very, very active. kind of like vultures. So if their earnings is seen as somewhat gray / a miss, then you will see shorts very active. So 24.51% of the free float is being shorted. So that's what we're going into this upcoming week with. 7.06 million shares, and utilization is 86.46. And one thing as well, on a side note, that should really stimulate the market this week, and in turn as well a lot of spec plays, is this. So this was just announced on Sunday. So the US is going to have a crypto reserve where they have many different ones. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Cardano, Solana. So a lot of big ones that have a pretty good utility. So even though there isn't any correlation between this and, for instance, SERV, but it does go to show people's appetite for risk is on the table. So if the US government is doing this, then it doesn't show that much downside for at least cryptocurrency. So thus people are going to kind of increase their buying power a little bit based on all that. So again, another element that could really help SERV going into this week. Looking at the options though for this open interest, so you do have roughly 1,000 at that $11 strike price, and that's pretty much it going into this upcoming week. When it comes to SERV and options, it hasn't really been all that popular lately, unfortunately. So I think with the pullback, people are now just waiting for, okay, like show me, like what is their upcoming earnings going to really portray? And when it comes to analysts, so there is only 3 ratings so far on it. The recent ones, obviously $23, $12, and $16. The 16 was done 4 months ago, but potentially with the pullback, it did get on a lot of people's radars. So essentially, if their earnings is good, you could see a lot of brand new ratings and hopefully all bullish. And so again, that could really help push the stock price higher. But as far as some general support and resistance points, with it at 901, it is trading between this S2 and this S3. So 716 is going to be a strong support. And obviously that would be on the low end if they do really miss on their earnings. Again, going back over to the implied move, that would be again where it might hit on the low, just in case, just to take note of that. But flip side, 1135 and then 1393 will be the next strong target / resistance points. So in my opinion, I feel like their earnings, most likely the actual key metrics will be flat, but their future guidance will be good. So the market might buy that up, similar to what happened last earnings for the most part. But moving on from here though, on the actual chart itself, it is unfortunately below all the key pivotal moving averages that I generally like to look at. Stochastic RSI is very oversold, so that could really help it as well this week. If a good piece of news does come out, good future guidance, or even on a macro standpoint, then you could see a nice push higher. Some key points to really watch for is that 200-day moving average at $9.74. Aside from that, the 100 is at $12.76, and then the 50-day moving average is at $15.85. So just kind of factor that into as far as resistance levels in combination with these right here. So let me know your thoughts on SERV. Are you bullish, bearish on their upcoming earnings? Do you think it's going to move higher? Like, what's your overall take from all of that? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon to get buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.